5-10 मिनट सर.
So now we are on to our next chapter, that is system devices. I am skipping third chapter, that is part programming. As soon as our physical classes will start, I will complete that part programming chapter in the physical class, because it will be difficult to dictate or to understand part programming in the online class. So I am skipping that chapter, third chapter, that is part programming, and I am switching to the fourth chapter, that is called the system devices, as per our syllabus of CNC machines and automation. So that system devices, that in this chapter we'll study all the devices which are being related to the system, to the CNC machines, to the automation, that how the CNC works, and how the CNC machines have their control systems, how the tools are being positioned, and how the tools are being using the coordinate system to the set of instructions and performing the operations, while they are performing the operation to point to point, or they are performing the operation from the continuous path. And we'll study the path of the tool as well as the path of the workpiece. If you are using the lathe, CNC lathe machine, you have to study the path of the workpiece, or if you are using the drilling machine or the milling machine in the CNC machines, then that is, if you are performing the drilling or milling operation using the CNC machines, then you have to consider that the tool is having the rotating motion as compared to the CNC lathe machines. Whereas in the case of the CNC drilling and milling machines, we have the workpiece has the fixed positions on the workpiece table, and the tool is in the rotating position. So all the devices which are being related to the CNC systems or the automation systems will study all the mechanisms and the control system related to that CNC machines in this chapter. So coming on to our first topic, that is the open loop system and the closed loop control system. So first of all, we will study the types of control system that are being available in the CNC machines. So CNC machines basically have the closed control system, uh, whereas open loop control system machines are also available in the market, but they usually don't provide any feedback system to the worker or the simulator or to the R&D department. So these machines which are having the open loop control systems are somewhat cheaper as compared to the CNC machines which are having the closed loop control system in their mechanism. So open loop control system is basically consist of the consist of the actions performed by the control systems at the simple, and also the actuating function is very reliable, and there is no feedback system as such as that in the case of the closed loop control system in the open loop control system. And it has some advantages like it is very cheap, and also it is not complicated much, but it is having some disadvantage like it has some drawbacks like it is not accurate, it is not reliable, and it doesn't have the property of repeatability and setup. Whereas in the case of the closed loop system, it is the main advantage of the closed loop system is that we are getting the feedback system in the controller from the machine, that how the operation is being performed, that is which kind of operation is to be performed in the next sequence, or all the types of sequences are, whether the all type of sequences of operations are performing accurately on the workpiece or not, whether the workpiece is positioned accurately, whether the tool is performing the operation at the accurate axis, and that feedback can be in the form of analog signal as well as in the digital signal. That depends upon the display of the CNC machines, whether it is providing the signal in the form of the digital one or in the form of the analog one. Nowadays, we are getting the simulation graphs in the form the results in the form of the simulation graphs on the MCU display. So, if the skilled worker can judge whether the functioning whether the tool is functioning properly or not, whether the operation is being carried out properly or not, if there is any error may occur during the operation or after the operation, the closed loop control system will directly provide the feedback to the in the form of the analog and digital signal to the controller, and hence that feedback mechanisms allows the machine to understand where the tool in this regard to the previous movement. that is where was the tool in the previous movements, where will be the tool in the next movements, and also which kind of operation is to be performed, and which kind of operation have already been performed, and what is the sequence of the operations that next operations to be performed on the specimen or the workpiece. So the closed loop control systems helps in uh, providing the feedback system, and it is providing that, and it is saving the material, it is increasing, helps in increasing the productivity, it is helps in increasing the repeatability, it helps in increasing achieving the high accurate and precise finished quality products. So this is the image where you can understand what is the open loop control system and the closed loop control system. In this you can say that there we are having an input device, that is the stepping motor, which is providing the external power to the mechanism or to the machine. And you can see this is the work table. You can understand the through the cursor of the mouse, this is the work table on which the workpiece is being placed. This is the axis of the tool that is perpendicular to the workpiece, and it is performing the operation on the workpiece. This is the axis are perpendicular to the workpiece as well as to the axis of the tool, and this is the linear motion of the tool workpiece table. So in this case you can see the workpiece is moving and tool is being fixed, as in the case of the CNC lathe machines. So in this case, there is in the open loop control system, you can see there is no feedback as such feedback system available to provide that feedback system, and hence and compare it, there is no comparator that can compare that the stored results or the desired result have been achieved or not. In the open loop control system, you can see only the operations have been performed, and after the operations, all the operations have been performed. Only then worker can judge and understand whether there is any error in the workpiece or not. And if there is an error, there may be a rejection of 500 or 1000 products of the same lot, and we have generated a lot of scrap in that case. But to reduce that scrap in industry, we must need a closed loop control system that provides the feedback system to the comparator, to the controller, so that it can compare and control the all the error that may occur during the operations. Earlier we have already read in the first chapter also that we are getting the simulations in advance, we are getting the 3D model in advance, so that in advance for the before the actual production is happening in the production department. So in the similar way, if you are if there may be any error during the simulation work also, that error can be rectified at the feedback time, that is at the operation time also during the closed loop control system. But if you have not found any error during the simulation process, and also there is no error during the feedback signal, then the operation will be performed accurately whenever you have completed all the sequences of operation on the specimen. Whereas in the case of the open loop system, and if there may be an error left during the simulation process, then that error will be uh, inserted into the workpiece whenever that operation has been performed during the open loop control system, because there is no chances of getting the feedback system in the open loop system. Whereas in the closed loop system, there is two kind of foolproof system. Whereas one is the simulation process. At the time of the simulation process, you are getting the feedback system during the simulation also, that is you are getting the feedback at the 3D model while you are generating the wire diagram, or while you are generating the 3D model, or while you are performing the all the simulations at the simulation level or at the R&D department. And if there is maybe an error, that can be rectified at the simulation level, and also if there may be any error left during the after the simulation process, and whenever the actual production is being going on, then that error can be rectified at the at the closed loop control system, because it is providing the feedback at that point. So there it is a two kind of foolproof system in the closed loop control system. Whereas in the open loop control system, there is only a single layer foolproof system in the case of the open loop system, because during the operation and after the operations, that machine or that open loop control system doesn't provide any feedback to the worker, or it is not providing any feedback to the simulation department. Similarly, whereas in the case of the closed loop control system, it is providing the feedback to the worker as well as to the uh, simulation department or the R&D department by sending the feedback signal in the form of uh, that digital signal or in the form of the analog signal. So you can see in the closed loop control system diagram that we have the servo motor that is being used to provide the external source power, that is electrical energy, and then you can see this is the work table is being rotating, it is being in the linear motion, it is reciprocating. Let us say this is a lathe machine and the workpiece is being fixed on the tool post, and as soon as the workpiece is performed, as soon as the operation is being performed on the workpiece, you can see this optical encoder is recording the signal. We'll study all these devices, that is optical encoder, comparator, actuators, transducers in this chapter also. That as soon as you are providing, performing the operation on the workpiece, it is sending the continuous signal through with the help of the optical encoder to the comparator. And that comparator, what is the function of that comparator? It is comparing the desired results we have already stored in the form of set of instructions, in the form of set of program, that we need such kind of specifications of that product. Let us say you need a cuboid with an dimensions of 10 mm by 5 mm by 3 mm. So we have stored that set of instructions, we have stored uh, the desired specifications in the comparator in the form of set of instructions, and as soon as that operation is being carried out on the workpiece, that encoder is receiving that signal, it is receiving the signal from the workpiece, it is receiving the signal from the through the feedback signal and sending that feedback signal to the comparator. And what is the function of comparator? It is comparing the feedback signal received through the optical encoder with the desired results. If the desired that feedback signal matches with the desired result, then the feedback is being provided in the positive way. That is, all the operations are being performed in the accurately accurate way and in the and precisely. And also the feedback signal is also providing that how the what is the feed rate, what was the speed rate, what is the coolant rate, and what is the amount of heat dissipation, what is the frictional force in between the uh, mating surfaces of the workpiece as well as the tool. So it is providing all kind of feedback to the comparator, and comparator is comparing all the and comparator is comparing all the just wait and comparator is comparing all the signals received through the feedback signal in between the, that is comparator is comparing the signals as that received in the through the feedback signal through the optical encoder with the desired results which are being stored in the form of the initial we have stored in the form of the desired results. So next are the motion control systems. So basically you can see the NC process or the numerical control process are being performed at the various discrete locations. What is the meaning of a discrete location? That is, it is not fixed, it is in the form of the uh, it is not fixed, it is not in the continuous form. That is, we have to perform a single operation on the, let us say, on the corner of the specimen, then we have to perform that operation on the other corner of the operation, that next kind of operation on the other corner of the operation on the specimen. So similarly, we need a discrete location to perform. We need a discrete movement of the tool to perform that particular operation. Let us say we have to make a 2 mm drill on the left side of the specimen and have to make it 4 mm drill on the right hand side of the specimen. So to perform these two similar kinds of operation, but there is some variation in the drilling operation. Let us, that is, we have to perform a 2 mm diameter drill at the left hand side of the specimen, and on the right hand of the specimen we have to perform a 4 mm drilling. So that discrete location, that is a movement of the tool from one end of the specimen to the other end of the specimen, is called the discrete location. So that movement can be point to point, that and also can be a continuous movement. And also if you are performing a drilling operation and the welding operation or the spot welding, like then that movement can be discrete location. But if you are performing a operation like turning operation or the milling operation or a continuous butt, making a butt joint or the lap joint, then that operation can be a continuous operation. So here we cannot call it as a discrete location. So here the tool needs a continuous location and a continuous movement from one end of the specimen to the other end of the specimen while you are performing a turning operation or the welding operation, like you are making a butt joint or a lap joint. Then that motion is called the continuous control motion, when the tool has to move from one end to other end. So that depends upon the operation. That motion control system is basically depends upon the operations or the sequence of operations to be carried out on the particular specimen. Then the movement of the tool can be discrete. We will classify it as a discrete location and as well as a continuous location. So discrete locations, as I have already told you, that it can be an example of drilling as well as the spot welding, whereas in the continuous location we'll take this operations like turning operation, knurling operations, and the continuous welding. So these different types of movements are being accomplished by the motion control systems, which we will study in the ensuing slides. So motion control systems have been, there are basically two types of motion control systems as per your syllabus, that is point to point and the continuous path control systems. So first one is the point to point and second one is the continuous path control systems. And this is the motion control systems for basically the numeric controlled machines. So first one is the point-to-point positioning in the NC corner system. You can see we are having this rectangle and you have to perform the three operations on 3 points. That is, you have to make a three drill at 3 points. Let us say we have 1, 2, and 3. There are 3 points and you have to perform the three drilling operation, hole drilling operations. And here you can see this is the y. We have shown here the y-axis as well as the z-axis. Central portion is a workpiece. This is the line which is shown in the red is called the path of the tool, from where the tool has to move from 1 to 2, 2 to 3. So this kind of motion is called the discrete location motion, or you can say this is the point to point positioning. And we have taken a star, that is a left hand side point, and on the left hand side of the y-axis as a origin or the starting point from where the tool has to be fetched from the tool drum and has to use that part. That all the specifications, all the path of the tool and the operation, which tool has to be considered from the, has to be taken from the tool library, has to be attached to the tool drum to perform that particular operations. All these kinds of set of instructions are being performed in the program which we have been stored in the CNC machines. That which kind of operation is to be performed, which tool is to be fetched from the tool library, and where the tool has to perform the operation. Whether the, we have to specify the central point of the drill, we have to specify the coordinate system of that, sorry, point 1, 2, and 3, so that operations can be performed accurately. So in this point to point control system, you can see in the figure also, we have to initially start the tool from that X point, and then using that tool path we have to perform the operation at initially at the first point, and then we have to make the position the ideal position, and we have to relocate that position at the point 2. Then we have to again perform the drilling operation, and again similarly we have to uh, unload that tool, and again we will that from the set of instructions, from the set of program, the machine will understand, the machine will fetch the information that which kind of drill is to be performed at again at point 3. So here you can see this is not a continuous motion of the tool. We have to perform the operation only at 3 points, three discrete points. So whenever the tool is moving from point 1 to 2, from point 3 to 1, and again back from 3 to the starting point, the tool doesn't have to perform any operation. So it remains in the idle position, it remains in the unloading position. So the tool has only to perform the operation at point 1, 2, and 3. So this is called the point to point or the positioning control motion control system in the NC coordinate system. So next one is a continuous path. It generally refers to the continuous or the simultaneous control of two or more axes, that you are controlling the x-axis, you are controlling the y-axis. So these are the kinds of motion control systems which are being referred to the capable of continuous and simultaneous control of two or more axes. So this basically provides the control of tool trajectory. That is, if you are performing the turning operation, if you are performing the welding operation, so there is a continuous curve, continuous movement of the tool around the workpiece. Or let us say if the workpiece is moving in the case of the lathe machine, then it's also enabled to generate the angular surfaces and two-dimensional curves and three-dimensional contours in the work path. And similarly, we are controlling the motion of the tool in the case of the milling as well as in the turning operation. In the case of the milling and drilling operation, you can see that the workpiece is fixed and the tool is moving. So we have to control the tool trajectory of the with respect to the workpiece which is being stationary on the milling and drilling machines. Whereas in the case for the turning and knurling operations, we are controlling the trajectory of the workpiece, and the tool was fixed in the case of the CNC lathe machine and the, for performing the knurling and turning operations. We are having a simple two-dimensional profile operation in the next slide. You can see this is axis showing the tool starting path, and this is the workpiece of the complex shape. You can see two axes are in the linear one and other are some complex shape and showing the curved path of the tool. So we have to specify in the set of instructions that which path has to be performed, has to be used by the tool, and which profile has to be used by the tool. So this is the continuous path or contouring control in the NC system. This is the XY plane only. So note that cutting tool path must be offset from the part outlined by distance equal to the radius. So you can see this is the tool. So you have to specify the path of the tool in such a way that it should be away, it should be far, it should be offset as equal to the radius of that specimen. अगर आप इसको radius के equal बाहर नहीं रखेंगे, इसको offset नहीं रखेंगे tool को, तो क्या हो जाएगा? That specimen will be shorter. If you will put that center of the tool at this point, at the axis of that, at the boundary of the specimen, then that specimen will be shortened. It will be in the smaller in size after the manufacturing. So you have to keep that tool away at a distance equal to the radius of the tool. So that's why we have shown the continuous path away at a distance equal to the radius of the tool. So you can see the cursor of the mouse. This distance is called the offset distance, and it is equal to the radius of the tool. That is, if our tool is in the cylindrical shape, and you are performing the turning operation, this is the continuous path, continuous movement of the tool around the complex axis of that complex boundary of the tool. So this distance will be equal to that offset distance, that you have to offset the tool away the tool from that boundary of the workpiece to the axis of the tool must be equal to the distance between that distance will be equal to the radius of the tool. So if you will perform, or if you define the tool path exactly equal to the or exactly upon the boundary of the workpiece, then that workpiece will be smaller after the manufacturing. But if you have placed that you have set the tool path at a offset distance equal to the tool radius of the tool path, and then it will be equal to the exact, we will get the exact equation, or will get the exact specification of the workpiece after the manufacturing. आपको ये बात समझ आ रही है अभी कि नहीं? कि यहाँ पे हमने क्या किया है कि हमने टूल के पाथ को एक उतना दूर रखा है वर्कपीस की बाउंड्री से जितना कि क्या हो रहा है वहां पे टूल का रेडियस है, क्योंकि अगर हम टूल की एक्सिस को सिर्फ उसकी बाउंड्री के ऊपर ही रखेंगे तो यहाँ पे क्या हो जाएगा, जो हमारा स्पेसिमन है, जो हमारा वर्कपीस है, वो छोटा हो जाएगा। बिकॉज कितना वो अंडर कट कर देगा, जितना उसका रेडियस होगा उतना वो अंडर कट हो जाएगा। इसको बोलेंगे हम अंडर कट ऑपरेशन। तो अंडर कट ऑपरेशन से बचने के लिए वी हैव टू कीप द टूल पाथ अवे फ्रॉम द वर्कपीस बाउंड्री एट अ डिस्टेंस इक्वल टू द रेडियस ऑफ द टूल। तो उतना हमें उसके दूर रखना पड़ेगा, इसलिए हम इसको बोलते हैं इट इज कॉल्ड अ टूल ऑफसेट। समझ आया? इज इट क्लियर? इज इट क्लियर?
सर आवाज चली गई सी ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ।
अब ठीक है?
हाँ जी।
ये तो मोशन कंट्रोल सिस्टम समझ आया तुम्हें?
हाँ जी सर।
ठीक है। So similarly, we are having the continuous motion. You can see here the tool is performing the operation on the complex shape. It is performing the turning operation. So you can see there is some straight movement also, there is some curve movement of the tool also, there is some straight cut, there is some circular interpolation also. So this is the starting point of the tool. You can see the cursor of the mouse. This is the starting point of the tool, and the tool has to move from that starting point to the uh, point where the operation is to be performed. So that curve is always, that curve of the tool path will always be equal to the away as a distance equal to the offset distance equal to the radius of that tool. If it doesn't perform that operation away at the offset distance equal to the tool radius, then it will be an undercut on the specimen. So similarly, you can see here there is some curve, there is some straight line, there is some straight cut mode, there is some circular interpolation. So all these changes have been possible only in the contouring motion, whereas this is not possible in the case of the point to point motion. So that depends upon the operation which is to be performed on the specimen. So you are using that contouring motion control system, or you are using the point to point motion control system. If you are performing welding operation, if you are performing the spot welding kind of operation, then you will must understand that we will consider the point to point positioning system. Whereas if you are performing the turning operation, you are performing the continuous welding operation, then you have to take the continuous or the contouring motion control systems.